Lucky O'Stucky here, 9 days away from the season opener. The WBC Championship. Will it be Palencia or PCA taking home that pot of gold? Plus, our favorite lad, Alex Cohen from Marquee, joins us. CHGO. Here we go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast. It is St. Patrick's Day, and we are 9 away from the season opener at Wrigley Field. So we thought, what kind of pot of gold could we put in front of you on St. Patrick's Day? How could we build this up any bigger? The answer is Alex Cohen of Marquee, who joins us live back from the desert. Huh? Beautiful.
What a lead-in. I like it. I need more Irish accent from you, Luke. I want it the entire hour. Give it to me.
Cillian Murphy here. Peaky Blinders. Right? That's who I work with.
Oh, he's Alex O'Cohen. I could do the whole show like that, but I won't. All right. So, Alex, first of all, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We are looking forward to all the games you're going to call this year. We saw the spring training game. We're going to talk about, I hear you got a podcast coming up here this season with Lance. We'll talk about that. How about we divide this into the way the team is built? Let's go a pitching segment, a hitting segment. Maybe we'll talk WBC because we've got the big final tonight with some Cubs in it. And then we'll just talk general Cubs baseball. That sound good?
Sounds great. I mean, if you're going to divide, you're the adder, and divider, I'm the talker. So whatever you say goes. I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
Your show, I'm just living in it.
So let's start with the pitching stuff. And I want to start positive because the game yesterday was Cade Horton. What you've seen of Cade Horton, like I want to jump in and be like, he's going to be one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball of the year. That's what I want to jump into. But at the same time, I can look at this rotation and say, there's like 4 or 5 guys that I could see being the ace by the end of the season. It's just how it all unfolds. Is Cade Horton, you think, going to have the type of season we hope he's going to have?
Well, I mean, your expectations are very high being a top 5 starting pitcher, which would mean, 2 or 3 in the NL Cy Young voting. Yeah. I think he's an ace. Like, I think that if you talk about ace being one of the 30 best starting pitchers in baseball, he is that. Just getting his fastball velocity back to when he was drafted in the first round. And then you saw him yesterday, 20-plus swings and misses, 10 strikeouts, and topping out at 98.6 when his hardest fastball last year was 98.5. So healthy, slider looks good, got whiffs on the changeup. I mean, that 3-pitch mix right there, all plus pitches, it's ace type of stuff. So I don't know if you can guarantee or expect the second half of Cade Horton to happen the entire 2026 season for Cade Horton, but even if he's 75% of that, he's an ace, he's a frontline starter, and the Cubs are much better for it.
Yeah, Alex, longtime listener, first-time question here, man. Thanks for joining the show. Really excited to do this with you. When we talk about Cade Horton, yeah, you mentioned that swing and miss yesterday, and obviously great to see because for Cubs fans, we're so excited for the season this summer that, when he has a rough outing last time, people start to freak out a little bit. So that bounce back was really nice. And you mentioned that 98.6 on the gun. I think we're seeing that across the board with this pitching staff. Can you comment a little bit on what you've seen? Because we see some guys, Shota's hit 93, 94, Asad's hit 94 on the gun. I mean, is it the Arizona gun or is it really that Tyler Zombro, Tommy Hotovy, that evolution of what they're trying to inject and put their fingerprints on this staff? And we might see a little bit uptick in velocity across the board.
Yeah, I think it's the evolution of the pitching staff. Also, it's just making sure those guys are healthy. It's making sure that Javier Assad is healthy. Remember, Assad missed, the first 2 months of the season. In the 2023 World Baseball Classic, he was throwing 96-mile-per-hour sinkers. So being able to get the velocity back up to that, Ben Brown, getting him healthy, making sure that Cade Horton is healthy, this is his first healthy spring since 2023. So just making sure that your hosses, your dudes are in the best shape possible, like best shape of your life type of stuff. The only person who's not in the best shape of their life in Arizona is me at that time, and that's the way that it should be. So just making sure that the guys are healthy, and then just integrating the program that Tommy Hotovy and Tyler Zombro, Casey Jacobson, all of them are able to implement in October and November to make sure that they're ready to go in March and April.
As I mentioned at the top, there are so many guys, and I look at it and say, well, I don't ever want to say Justin Steele's not an ace, because he could come back and be just as good as he always was. Shota could go back to being the guy he was for the first 3 quarters or almost more than that of his career with the Cubs. But the one guy that I look at and say, all right, there are 4 or 5 potential aces. There are, although I agree, Cade Horton's the guy. There's X factors in that rotation as well.
Yeah, I know where you're going to go here. I think I know where you're going. It's going to be Edward Cabrera, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Cabrera is the first one. And how does he factor into this rotation? Because we've seen his stuff. We've seen him as an ace in Florida, but will he take that next step with the Cubs? Because that's what they're invested in.
The stuff's legit. I mean, you take all the Cubs pitchers when they're throwing their ace stuff, Edward Cabrera has the best stuff. Like, after his last spring training outing, I was in Arizona. I walked by Tyler Zombro, and he turns around. He says, well, that was fun, wasn't it? Just kind of like, we haven't had that breath of fresh air, that stuff in a long time. And I think Edward Cabrera is the pitcher where you have the A lineup. They're getting their A swings. If you have Edward Cabrera throwing his A stuff, he's going to silence that. Like, his A stuff is better than opposing lineups' A swings. He's that good. And I think that he has the best pure stuff. And this is going to be a bold statement. Best pure stuff, best like ceiling to a Cubs starting pitcher since Jake Arrieta. Like, it's that good.
Wow.
It's that good.
Well, I could take a little Jake Arrieta in this rotation.
99 mile per hour heater, 96 mile per hour changeup. He's big, he's strong, good athlete, knows how to pitch. He's got a good sinker. Like, he has a sinker and a fastball and a 4-seam fastball that are 98 and 99 respectively. That could be his 3rd or 4th best pitch. So if you're playing with 99 and 98 and it's not your best stuff, like, good luck, man. Good luck.
Yeah, and having said that, like, I think Cubs fans are getting really, really excited about Edward Cabrera. Is there any part of you that feels like maybe they also will try and just, because health is he is the big sure. if healthy, could you see them at least out of the gate trying to guardrail a little bit, maybe just with pitch count, or just try and take care of him, like, so they have that kind of communication early on in the year to try and get him through the year? Or is that really stuff maybe also, is it a misnomer? Is that a little bit behind him maybe, and he's still a very young pitcher that can handle a full workload?
Yeah, I don't know if guardrail would be the type of word, but I think they can be creative with their starting pitching depth. I mean, if you go down to Arizona, and you guys were down there, I was down there, the 2 main themes that stuck out to me that people were really excited about in camp. One was Matt Shaw and his versatility, just being able to play 5 positions across the diamond. And 2, their starting pitching depth, the fact that they can go not just 5 deep, not just 6 deep when Justin Steele comes back, but you add Colin Ray, who threw a career-high in innings last year. You add Javier Assad. And then you add Ben Brown, who now worked with Clay Holmes and has a devastating sinker. And you have Jackson Wiggins waiting in the wings. That's 9 guys right there who could start meaningful baseball games and shut out opponents for the Chicago Cubs. So with their starting pitching depth, I don't know if they need to apply guardrails, but they could sure be creative.
Ben Brown's an interesting one, because all of last year I kept saying, I don't want to give up on him as a starter, because you watch the games against the Brewers and you say, oh, wow, that was pretty good. He could be a starter. And then you think about that next pitch, and here comes the sinker. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if he's starting in Iowa. I don't know if he's starting with the Cubs. I don't know if he's starting as a starter or a reliever, or how they're going to use him this year, or maybe all of that, Alex. My question is, how much is this sinker going to impact him?
I mean, if that could be his 3rd pitch, it's huge. I mean, that's what makes a reliever go into a starter, to go from 2+ pitches to 3+ pitches. The curveball is a plus pitch. The 4-seamer is plus velo. He was working on a changeup. He was, I think he was working on a split at one point. But if that sinker can induce ground balls and limit the fly balls at Wrigley Field in the summer and the home run ball, if you get him at 3+ pitches, I mean, he is an out-getter. And I don't care if it's a starter. I don't care if it's a reliever. I would imagine that he would be stretched out so you can give him length, but he will be able to get high leverage outs for the Cubs if that sinker is really the sinker that he thinks it is and the Cubs think it is.
Yeah, when we talk about this rotation, we've talked a lot about the youth, and there's a nice mix, right, of there's some young arms on the way, and they have a lot to prove. We also have a lot of veteran stability also across our pitching staff and in the rotation. So I hate to bring down the party a little bit, but I do want to ask you, what have you seen from Jameson Taillon? Everyone's freaking out about the ERA. I mean, the guy goes to the bump every fifth day. He was a quality start machine last year. Just from your perspective, from your eye, what have you seen from Taillon? And does it bring you any sense of concern, or is this all just tinker mode getting ready for opening day?
I mean, it's a combination of everything. Obviously, you don't want to see 23 earned runs and 4 spring training starts. Like, that's not something he wants to see, the Cubs want to see, or the fans want to see. Where I would be concerned if you get through the first 3 series of the season, or you get the first homestand, you have that series at Cleveland, you got that series at Tampa Bay. If that continues into those 4 series, first 2 weeks of the season, then I'm a little bit concerned. At this point, he looked good in the WBC. The velocity his last spring training start was 92 to 93. I actually thought the kick chain looked really good in his last start. It was just control. It was just leaving heaters elevated and cutters center plate that didn't move. So I think it's command that would be an issue, which is normally an issue in spring training. But the fact that his velo was up and up from his previous spring training starts and WBC starts, and the fact that secondary pitch that he had been working on that gave him so much success at the end of last year, kick change, looked pretty good. I'm more encouraged than most people.
I'm with you. I'm not worried about Taillon because he's the Ian Happ of the pitching staff. Like, people can be angry half the season, and then you get to the end of the season, you look at the stats, and you say, well, he did it again, and he was the guy you needed in the postseason last year. Now, you also only need him to be like a 5 in this rotation.
If you can get 150 to 155 innings with a 3.75 to a 4 from Jameson Taillon, you're going to win 95 games. You're going to win 95 games. I mean, if you can get that from your 5, you're going to win 95 games.
Yeah, and that's a great perspective, Alex, because I think he's a guy that likes to pound the zone, right? So if it's the location in the zone for him, and as long as the velocity is checking out. He also is a guy we talk a lot about on the show. He's always trying to add something to his game every single year. He's always trying to evolve as a pitcher, the kick change being one of those things. So if he's working through it a little bit, we're giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though there are some people in our chat here that see that ERA. And kind of, it is jarring to the eyes to see the ERA.
It's a lot, but what we're talking, what is it, March 17th, 18th? It's hard to keep track. I think it's the 17th. If we come back and have this conversation on April 17th and there's still the same struggles, it's a different level of concern to me.
Alex, of the guys that you've seen, we both agree that Cabrera could be a real X factor. If Cade Horton can be that guy, he's an X factor in the rotation. Steele coming back could be that. How about some young guys that might surprise and be really big parts of this pitching staff? You see Palencia, obviously that's the case, but whether it's Jack Neely or Jackson Wiggins or somebody else, how about a young name where you say, you know what? This guy might be a real factor this year, and you might not be counting on it.
This is going to be the easy answer because we've already brought them up. I think Ben Brown's an X factor. I really think that the stuff is so plus that if he continues to throw the 4-seamer like he threw it last year at times, if he continues to throw the curveball, like that's a plus pitch on Baseball Reference, all the metrics say. If that sinker is as good, and he worked on it as hard as he said that he did, and it's a plus pitch, he's a completely different pitcher, and it completely changes the entire compass of this Cubs pitching staff. Because you can use him as a starter, and if you have those 3 pitches and his fastball's at 98, then you're looking at back end of the bullpen stuff. Then you're looking at September and October, if he's healthy and he's pitching well, that he's probably your setup guy. And if Hunter Harvey can be good, and if Phil Maton can be good, that can completely transform the bullpen. I think if Ben Brown is really good, if that continues, it completely transformed this pitching staff. Not just starting rotation, but bullpen versatility as well.
All right, got to take a quick break. We're with Alex Cohen of Marquee. Coming up, we're going to talk about the offensive position players and how they fit into going up this season and how Alex gets ready for opening day in the first week of this season. It's coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Oh, Joey, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if I told you that you could have it at the same price for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 straight years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, finds and fixes problems before you even know you have them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And it lets you stream the game while everybody else in the family is watching something else online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. Here's the best part: no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Lock in your price. Unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. 5 whole years.
5. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Luke, I got 3 words for you, and it ain't I love you. It's good, better, best. Chicago's home to the most iconic 3-word slogan in American sports. And right now, Bet365's honoring that rally cry that had shirts flying off of Chicagoans all across the Chicagoland area with their 3-word motto, the early payout offer. So here's how it works. If your team is riding and it goes up by 10 points at any point in the game, they'll pay out your bet right there on the spot. And seriously, that way you can get back to doing what really matters, making fun of Brewers fans. That's right. It's Bet365, where winning is everything. Right now is the perfect time. And honestly, a 120 on a summer Friday, the next best thing right now is Bet365's current running Bet5 Get 150 promo. Any Bet365 user with $150 will get $150 in bonus bets after depositing $10 and making their first bet of 5. It's as easy as that. So no Chicago, it's time to get in with Bet365. Use the code CHGO365 when you sign up today. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Illinois. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers must be 21 plus or older.
Back with one of the great play-by-play voices in baseball, Mr. Alex Cohen of Marquee. You'll get to hear him throughout the season. We heard him last year. It was a lot of fun. And Alex, we're all waiting for the Seiya Suzuki update. Apparently, he's in the clubhouse today in Arizona, still limping. When we talk about position players, the one thing that bothered me the most about the injury was he was having such a great spring. Now, I'm not saying it's going to derail everything. I have no idea what the update will be, but he looked really good, and I thought, you know what, contract year, Seiya is going to take it from the last couple years, and he is going to take that next step, and he is going to be one of the elite hitters in baseball. How important is he to this offense? Like last year, so many people said Tucker, when he first got here, is the key to this offense. It changes everybody in the lineup. I know Bregman's partly that guy, but how important is Seiya to this offense?
It's huge. It's really hard to replace 30 and 100, and a guy who's getting better each and every year, and a guy that, yes, he gets some bumps and bruises, but has DH versatility. His defense got better in right field. He just seems to be getting better and more comfortable in Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I mean, outside of the stats of 30 and 100, really tough to replace. He's also just such an impact bat in the middle of the order that also get benefit from automatic balls and strikes, because he was called up. I think he was, like the second most called up of like balls out of the strike zone for called third strikes. So I think once you combine everything, it was prime for a Seiya Suzuki breakout season, and hopefully he can still have it. I mean, I'm with you. We're still trying to figure out what the trajectory is for his 2026 season. If he plays opening day, if he plays April 15th, or if it's a more serious injury. So we'll see.
Yeah. Am I wrong, Alex? I thought he was like a feet first sliding guy. I don't remember Seiya doing a lot of head first sliding. I mean, he's doing it. He's doing it for his country. I get it. But like, isn't he a feet first sliding guy?
I think he's an instinct slider. I think it's one of those where he kind of has like a sixth sense where if he can be safe, a split second more easier or quicker. If it's a head first slide, he'll do a head first slide. If it's safer to do a feet first slide, if his body's in position to do a feet first slide, he'll do that. So he's an instinct type of player. Yeah,
the optimism of, I mean, obviously there's never optimism when a player gets injured, but you know, the Cubs did a great job. I feel like Jed did a great job in the offseason of preparing perhaps for moments like this. So this transitions over to Matt Shaw perhaps seeing some time, maybe even opening day in right field if Seiya isn't good to go. Just bring our viewers into what you've seen in this spring from him defensively out there in right field. And obviously every day, when Cubs fans look at the box score, he's picking up hits. He drove in another run yesterday. So, yeah.
I'm not as concerned with Matt Shaw in right field. He keeps on swinging the way that he's been swinging. A guy who was drafted in the first round as an offense-first infielder. There was no real question if he was going to hit in the big leagues. And I think that you saw spurts and bits and pieces of his rookie year, especially in the second half where, man, he could be an impact bat. So I think if he can be that impact bat, 80% of what he was in the second half with increased power, stealing more bags. I think he has 6 stolen bases in Cactus League play too. So you combine all that with the defensive versatility. You don't have to be a Gold Glove right fielder. He's a really good athlete. And if he's somebody that can play 20 to 25 games in right field and things don't go haywire, that helps this team. So I think that Matt is completely serviceable just because he's one of the best athletes on this team. Like, his natural instincts are really good wherever on the diamond that you put him. And that's what comes with getting a college shortstop who was drafted in the first round. So you saw the adjustment that he made to third base. Never really played it. Gold Glove finalist. You saw him roaming around center field. Looks like he's been playing there for 10 years. If he can play center, he can play right, he can play second, he can play third, a little bit of first. He's such a valuable player, and it helps especially with the Seiya Suzuki injury situation being a question mark.
All of the offseason, whether it was real or not, we heard people wanting to talk about, will they trade Shaw? Will they trade? Once they got Bregman, it was like, oh, okay, Shaw's not the third baseman. Do you think it was smoke around fire, or was most of it just chatter on Twitter?
Why would you trade him? If he can play 5 different positions and he's on a rookie deal and he's under team control for the rest of the decade, why do you trade a player like that unless you're going to get a better, more impact, full-time starting position player? Because if he can play 5 different positions and he's cheap and completely transform the bench, it makes your team that much better. I never understood. There's no reason to deal Matt Shaw unless you need a starting pitcher. You go get it. Well, the Cubs have 9 of them. You go get an impact closer. Well, they have Daniel Palencia, who might be an all-star closer. So they don't need to trade him. That's probably why they didn't trade him.
Yeah, and I think the fun part about it is, if you think about the flip side, is that the Cubs have a lot of young players that other teams want. So guess what's going to happen? They're going to end up in trade rumors, and Cubs fans are going to have to sit there and be like, oh, man, are they going to trade Nico Horner? Are they going to trade Matt Shaw? What would they trade Jackson Wiggins or Moisés Ballesteros for? It's a fun time, Alex, right? There's a great influx of veterans. Now, granted, some of them are some walk-year guys with some big prove-it-year deals coming up. But this young core that's kind of slowly being like injected into the team each year. It's like Amaya and PCA. Last year was Shaw, a little Ben Brown. This year, it could be more Shaw, Moisés Ballesteros. It's a fun time to be a Cubs fan, right? And maybe other teams are maybe a little jealous of what we've got going on.
Yeah, it's a really good problem to have. Just having the experience that you have with the Cubs, and you can inject that with an influx of talent. I think it's really important to hold on to that talent because you look at the guys who are in contract years this year. Seiya Suzuki, contract year. Nico Horner, contract year. Ian Happ, contract year. Carson Kelly, contract year. Matthew Boyd, contract year. So, of course, you would love to keep all 5 of them. Odds are probably not. So to be able to have those type of reinforcements from a youth perspective, from a control perspective, it helps to have them in the organization rather than trade them.
So you lose Tucker in free agency, and you've added Alex Bregman. Mm-hmm. 2 different players, once teammates. When the Cubs locked in on Bregman as the guy that they were looking for in free agency, Craig Counsell called him the best free agent out there. Like, of a whole class, he was like, I think we got the best free agent. What does Bregman bring to this team that we don't see on a stat sheet?
Did you listen to the World Baseball Classic and Joe Davis and John Smoltz talking about the impact that Alex Bregman has on any lineup, whether that is Team USA or Boston last year or Houston when they were winning or the Cubs? Like, he is so universally respected for what he can bring to the locker room. And I know, like, the second coach stuff, it's a little cliche. Mm-hmm. It's palpable here. He's a second coach. He is somebody that coaches go to for advice to get the pulse of the locker room. He is a place where PCA and Matt Shaw go to because he's an experienced guy who wins. He's somebody who is a contemporary with Dansby Swanson. You remember they play college baseball against each other, and Ian Happ. He's a leader and he's a winner. And I know that baseball is a team sport, but Alex Bregman, from the time that he was a rookie in baseball, not including the year that he made his debut, but his rookie year, he has never missed the playoffs. Never.
Well, I hope that continues.
Never.
Yeah,
let's keep
that's
that
pretty
rolling.
good.
He exudes confidence. He wins, and it's just a calm, cool, collected demeanor, but also like can show a little fire. And I think that in a locker room where you have Ian Happ and you have Dansby Swanson, and you have Nico Horner, who all lead by example, I think Alex might have a different leadership style that has what Dansby, Ian, and Nico have, but also adds a little fire to that. I mean, it could only help.
Yeah, when we talk about Bregman a lot on the show, we've seen him a lot in spring training hitting in the 2 spot. Does that feel like the natural place to slide him in to start the season? Bregman at the 2?
You could be really versatile with Alex Bregman. I think that he'll start at the 2 spot. If Seiya Suzuki is out, there is an opportunity for him to hit, more in the power spots of the lineup, 3, 4. Also, if he's drawing a lot of walks against left-handed pitchers, maybe he leads off. I mean, I think that he'll be one of the top 4 hitters on this team. It just depends on where.
I love that, Alex, because Brian, the setup man, and me, we share that belief of if you have Matt Shaw at the bottom of the lineup, or whether it is Dansby, Carson, whatever, they roll that over, just the professional at bat that Bregman brings to the table every single day. I like to say that he puts up an annoying at bat, right? Like, I can't get this guy out. Like, I'm throwing him my pitch, I can't get, and then he gets you. So that leadoff spot, I know people are like, wow, we're paying him all this money to drive in runs, but him at the top, I could see him there too as well, and I think that could really kind of galvanize and set up some of the other guys.
Hold on. Also, if you lead him off, that means it guarantees him the most amount of at-bats.
Yeah, 100%.
So it gives him like more opportunity to make the biggest impact. Now, I do think that like 2 or 3 is a sweet spot for him, but if he is in a spot where he's seeing the ball well and he has a 400 on-base percentage over a certain stretch against left-handed pitching in particular, I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the leadoff spot.
All right. So one of the names that we will hear a lot this year, and we've kind of been waiting, you touched on already, Mo Baller. Like, we know they're trying to work the catching part of his career into it, and maybe someday he is an everyday catcher. I would assume he's going to do a lot of DH at some point this season.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about him as a hitter? Because everybody just says he can hit. He can hit the ball. But let's go beyond that. All right, he can hit the ball. What makes him a guy that you think will be a great hitter in the big leagues?
I think the fact that he is, 21, 22 years old, and he is just such an advanced approach at the plate. It's the 2 strikes approach. It is contact first approach. It's the ability to go to all fields approach. I mean, he's a type of kid that I wouldn't be shocked to see if he hits 15 home runs, but I also wouldn't be shocked to see if he hits 24 homers because he gets in a rhythm. And I mean, he's a guy that isn't specifically known for his power, but he was on the AAA home run derby. He led that team in home runs. So he's somebody that, yes, he's a hitter. Dude just hits. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think that his 2-strike approach, I think his ability to hit to all fields, I think his patience, I think his tempo at the plate, the tough at bat, it is so wise beyond his years that even if he doesn't catch, which I think it really adds to this team's value if he does, but if he doesn't, he is a guaranteed tough out, hit him 6, hit him 7, and your lineup's in a good spot.
Yeah, I know we need to break in a moment, but that was my follow-up, Alex, was if I gave you 18.5 games behind the plate, are you going over or under from Moisés Ballesteros catching games?
I'm probably taking under, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. There have been some starting pitchers. You heard Jameson Taillon talk about Moisés Ballesteros. You heard Edward Cabrera talk about Moisés Ballesteros. You heard Cade Horton talk about Moisés Ballesteros. And they are happy to work with them. Do I see a situation where he can be somebody's personal catcher? That could be along the horizon. I don't think it's going to be Edward Cabrera with his variation of pitches and tough stuff. But you need a pitcher who is around the plate, doesn't have a 6-pitch arsenal. I do think that 18.5 is a good number. I would say 15 would be the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We're talking to Alex Cohen from Marquee, and we will continue to do so after a quick break. It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast WBC Talk when we come back. Man, oh man, winter is back in Chicago, but don't worry. Hot weather will be on the way. Is your home's heating still up to the challenge? Is your AC ready for the summer? Maybe you're thinking about a whole home generator. Now is the time to schedule your tune-ups and get everything ready. 4 Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs. No extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with 4 Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month and furnace AC combos at just $57 a month. Call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. They are 4 Seasons. 4 Seasons, your trusted local expert for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Visit 4 Seasons, heatingcooling.com for all your special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4 Seasons, heatingcooling.com. I'm telling you, we go right from the furnace to the AC, back to the furnace, back to the AC. You got to be ready.
Got to check out 4 Seasons. And Luke, I got to tell you, I'm a guy on the go. I got a lot going on, right? Cubs opening day next week. March Madness this week. There's a lot going on in sports. And also, you might have a busy life too as well, whether you're dropping the kids off at daycare or dropping them off at school, trying to hang out with friends and family. There's a lot going on, but that's why I turn to Huel. That's right. It is the perfect solution for high protein routine and also support your busy days in its habit building. It's got convenience and helps you control your meals. It's the meal on the go. It's got 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavors, gluten-free, and my favorite part, it's under $5 per meal. That's right. It's the meal on the go. It is meal prep in a bottle. So what you got to do right now is head on over to Huel and check it out for the limited time offer today. Exclusive offer of 15% off with the code CUBS15, CUBS15 for new customers only. Thank you, Huel, for fueling CHGO Cubs all summer long. And remember, if you're busy, it doesn't matter because Huel can be that game changer.
Back on the CHGO Cubs podcast with the great Alex Cohen. It is time for the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. It is your Team USA starting lineup for tonight for Mark DeRosa against Venezuela for the gold medal.
Who's in? Who's
Witt
out?
leading off. Harper, Judge, Schwartz, Bregman at third. Anthony, Smith, Terang, and Buxton. That means no PCA in the starting lineup. I believe a lefty on the mound for Venezuela. Yep. So that's not surprising. It's the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. So, Alex, what do you think this World Baseball Classic experience will do for Pete Crow-Armstrong?
It will be immeasurable. It was the fact that he was able to be situated in a locker room, practicing, being with guys like Aaron Judge and, being reacquainted with Paul Skeens and Scooble and the best of the best. It is, being put in a situation in a big game, 2 strikes against him, and then putting a changeup into the second deck in Dyken Park. And then the next at bat doing the same exact thing, albeit not with 2 strikes. It is performing at the highest level in a situation that needed the highest, type of, being able to do that. So, I think it's immeasurable. I think it'll light a little bit of a fire of him not starting this potential championship game. I wouldn't be shocked if he would use this as ammunition for the rest of the season. I mean, he's the type of player that thinks that doesn't matter if it's a righty, a lefty, a hard thrower, a knuckleballer, 162. He wants to be out there all 162. So the fact that USA can win a championship or a gold medal or whatever you call it, and he's not in that starting lineup, I bet that'll add fuel to the fire for him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him not starting this game because it's the lefty. Yeah. I assume he'll still get into the game and be a big part of it. I'm curious your take on the whole Mark DeRosa moving him to left field because Cubs Twitter lost their minds over it for Buxton coming in playing center, PCA moving over to left.
I was surprised, but it's probably just to get Buxton into the game. He's the vet. You want to keep his legs warm because he is starting today. And Buxton's more comfortable in center field, and PCA is more, younger. He's defensively versatile. He's also like a really good outfielder at any 3 outfielder spots. So I was a little surprised, but also it's not that big of a deal. And the fact of the matter is, if they win this game, it's really not that big of a deal. So he didn't get hurt. didn't really get a ball hit to him. So as long as they win, nothing bad happens, can't really question it.
Yeah, when we talk about USA versus Venezuela tonight for the final, what's been really fun about this tournament, right, is just high-end competition, players that you would never see playing against each other, matchups that just get you so excited. So for you, Alex, what matchups are you looking forward to tonight, or what are your keys to this game, maybe so the USA can take it home?
I wouldn't mind seeing a Daniel Palencia versus Alex Bregman matchup in the 9th inning. I think that would be pretty. I think that'd be pretty neat.
There.
I think that'd be pretty neat.
Oh man,
I'm just really curious to see Team USA in this game with Nolan McLean starting and how they can configure their bullpen against this Venezuela lineup, who's pretty good. Like Ronald Acuna, second pitch of the game against Japan and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Seiya, Eugenio Suarez, like he does against the Cubs, time and time again, bunch of homers. Like this is a really good lineup. So I'm curious to see, without Paul Skeens, and you really had to empty the tank in the last game against the DR. If you're running on empty, what do you have left against this Venezuela lineup? If they have enough, they'll win. If they don't, they'll lose. I think it really has to do with pitching.
A lot of the chat over here at the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel talking about the move to left, and it's what we mentioned yesterday, that the Twins have a deal saying Buxton can only play center field, but then the question is, why did you have to get Buxton in? Anyways, you mentioned...
Well, it's for a situation like this, because if you want him playing in the gold medal game against a lefty, you don't want him doing it when he's been sitting for 8 days. So you have to keep him warm in some capacity, and if that happens to be in center field for an inning or two, so be it. Like, that doesn't concern me much. It really doesn't.
Me either. So, you mentioned it. You brought it up. You opened the can of worms. Bregman versus Palencia. Tonight, when you watch the game, Alex Cohen of Marquee, is it Cub over country, or is it country over Cub in that matchup? Or are you just watching as an impartial member of the media without any feelings in your soul whatsoever?
I'm going to go with another one. I just want good baseball, man. I just want to be on the edge of my seat. So, I mean, if it's Palencia versus Bregman, yeah, I think that's really cool because it's Cub versus Cub. It's guys who aren't going to face off against each other in 2026, fortunately. But, man, I mean, if it's Palencia versus Aaron Judge, I'm going to be stoked too. So I'm at like a full, give me pure chaos. Give me pure chaos, like a baseball fan. I want to be on the edge of my seat for the next 3 hours and 30 minutes, or however long it takes.
Do you see how smooth he's gotten already? Do you see how smooth he's gotten? That was the most elegant, descriptive way of ignoring the real question. I appreciate that, Alex. That was...
I want chaos. I want fun. I want fun. I no rooting interest either way. I just want I want the entire kitchen sink thrown at me.
Fair enough.
To push that a little bit farther, I like saying that. I just like saying this stuff out loud because I think we're all in agreement here. But I want to get your perspective on it too. As this WBC is ramping up, off the heels of an absolutely incredible World Series run, we've got Shohei Ohtani in the game right now. We got the Chicago Cubs playing October baseball, hopefully playing October baseball again this year, and now this WBC. I'm just going to keep it simple. Alex, baseball's back, right? It's back.
It's back, baby.
It's way back.
Yeah. I think, one, it's back, but two, you knew it once you saw the talent pool that was coming into this WBC, that it was going to be great and fun. I don't think that people or even players on their respective teams knew it was going to be like this. And hearing the guys from Venezuela and Dominican Republic and how much it means to them, guys who have won World Series, and then looking at the internal struggle of Tarek Skubal, going back to Tigers camp, even he said, I didn't know how much it would really resonate with me until I stepped into that locker room. So between that and baseball going back to the Olympics in 2028, I think that global baseball is back. And then just based on the World Series last year, and I think the game is in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, there have been a lot of... I've tried to pinpoint where it switched, because there were conversations 10, 15 years ago that baseball was dying. Kids don't want to play it. It's not fast enough. It's not like a video game. Nobody's going to... And it was this is the end of America's pastime. And I know that the NFL is now America's future. It's taken over. It's the present and the future. But I do think the rule changes that they put in speeding up the game helped. And
stolen bases alone, I think, have changed the game.
Making the game faster has changed it. The talent pool has changed it. Ohtani globally has greatly changed it. And I think the WBC in some small way has had a pretty good role in it the last 2 WBCs where they were electric.
Since 2023 or, the last one when it was, Ohtani versus Trout with the game on the line. I remember exactly where I was while watching it. I was at, Johnny's Pub or Johnny's Bar in Des Moines, and it was packed and people were going nuts. And I think it's just the players really buying into it and the guys from USA making it, that dream team type of feel. Then you look at the Dominican Republic lineup, and top to bottom in the lineup, you have their all-stars and their potential Hall of Famers. So I think the buy-in from the superstars really helped. This is going to be a little bit of a hot take. I think social media has helped grow the game because kids can film themselves hitting 500-foot bombs and throw 95 miles per hour at age 15, which ultimately isn't healthy, but it gets people to watch and see and grow and expand. I think NIL has helped too. I think the transfer portal's helped a little bit. So it's not all good. Like, obviously there's dangers of social media and there's cons to NIL, but I think specifically it has helped grow the game of baseball.
Well, when we talk about social media, we always think personality first. And my question is personality, but I do want to say that technology is a great point on your part. When they overlay, Paul Skeens' 5 different pitches from the same arm slot.
Awesome.
I could look at that stuff all day. But when we talk about personality, I do want to go back to PCA really quick because I do really think, I just keep hammering. You said the word immeasurable about this experience that he's having in the WBC. And he was on that podcast recently with Cam Johnson where he's so interesting and introspective, and he's taking accountability where maybe he's almost being too hard on himself when he's like, I didn't show up in that Brewers series last October. I want to be ready to meet the big moment. He has met these big moments in the WBC. So for you, Alex, what is it? I know the ceiling is the roof with the talent, but what is it for you that you think it's going to take from PCA to go from, I think he's already a star, to that super duper star? Because there's the physical talents and the mental. It's all trying to be balanced at the same time. How do you see his season going for him?
Do you want me to be honest? It's not going to take that much. I mean, the guy at 23 years old who was deemed as a defense-first outfielder went 30-30-30. He had 30 homers, over 30 stolen bases, and 30 doubles at 23 in his first full season in the big leagues. So I think he's doing pretty well for himself. You made a really good point. He is exceptionally hard on himself. He is the ultimate competitor. He wants to win. He's a perfectionist. He has such high IQ, really bright kid, high baseball IQ too. I think it's real simple for Pete Crow-Armstrong. 1, stay healthy. 2, continue to stay hungry defensively, because if he does, he is the best defensive player in baseball. And then just get on base a little bit more. Think about it. He was a 6-WAR player last year with an on-base percentage at 285. You get that on-base percentage up to 315. I'm not asking you to be a 365 OBP guy. 315, 320. That probably means 8 more stolen bases. And you keep the home runs around where they are. You don't have to go 30-30. You can hit 25. But if you do that, you're a 7-WAR player. You are an MVP candidate every single year by staying healthy, being a little bit more selective at the plate, and drawing some more walks. That's it.
Yeah, we've gone through each position in the division, and we made a lot of Brewers fans and other fans in the division mad by picking players that we thought. We went through it and we were like, wow, the Cubs are 1 or 2 in a lot of positions going into this year. And I know a lot of people want to easily detract from PCA because the second half wasn't as good as the first half, and the playoffs weren't as good as the first half. But you can't forget how spectacular the first half was, and the second half of the year before that. You can't, I'm not ignoring the struggles. Nobody is. He's young. But the thing that really bothers me about PCA conversation around the country is I think most people look at him and go, great player. But when he slams his helmet and you see that stuff, there are so many people that don't watch his games or hear his actual interviews that think he's this petulant baby that slams everything and won't listen and is just a entitled baseball player. If you listen to what he's saying, am I wrong? he's as about in-depth as a player as you want to get. I've never seen him.
And humble.
Yeah.
Like he's
Humble,
not your
treats the fans, the kids, all of that.
He's not your typical star, not typical star, but like he's not the guy who's going to ignore kids and have, walk into a stadium and just be about himself. He is such like a team-centric human, really just embraces the veterans and tries to soak up every piece of knowledge. And for every player that comes up, he's the first player to go to their locker. Like he is the perfect demeanor of superstar. And yes, does he spike his bat? Sure. Would I rather him not break as many helmets? Fine. But he cares, and he's a competitor, and he is somebody that is not stubborn. He wants to get better each and every day, and he knows that the sky's the limit for him. He's smart. He's introspective. He's humble. And if that comes with a couple broken bats, then so be it.
Yeah, he takes a little bit. I understand why him and Caleb are kind of friends.
Yeah.
Like they're young, they have a personality, they're enjoying their lives, but they're also very present in the moment. And it's a combination that I think it's hard for us. We try and put everybody into their own little boxes, right? Like, oh, he's young and he's dumb, or he's old and he's wise. It's like PCA and Caleb have that really interesting personality of like, yeah, I dye my hair blue, but I care deeply and passionately about my craft and about the game and about my teammates. And I think it's kind of a hard thing. There's a nuance to him that I think is hard for people to kind of drill in on. But I think luckily for Cubs fans, we're going to get to see it for years to come.
Well, if you also, you dye your hair blue, you put you a little bit of a target on your back. Sure. And he did that, and then he went 30, 30, 30. So, he understands that comes with the territory. I think he's the perfect superstar to have for this team. He's a perfect superstar to have for this city. And that's not to say, he might struggle this year. You might have 4 to 6 weeks where he does struggle and he gets into a funk. But he will work his way out of it. And he will be the star for this team. And he will be if the Chicago Cubs win 90, 95 games, win the division, go to the playoffs, he will be the catalyst for that. Not a catalyst, the catalyst.
I like to call Al, even though he's a veteran now, I like to call Alex part of the next gen of Chicago sports, stars, media stars. You and Lance. And now you guys are combining for a Cubs podcast. Now, first of all, don't think you're taking us off the top of that mountain, buddy boy. Okay? First thing I want to say, don't think you're taking us off the top of the mountain there, Alex. He's coming for us. See?
Tell me, let's go.
St. Patrick's Day fighting words here from Luke
I just threw a little
Stuckmeyer.
PCA at you, buddy boy. You're not. You think you're the Dodgers? No, I'm kidding. You drink your harp and your Guinness, and you tell me what's real. You tell me. What's the gist of the podcast other than obviously talking Cubs baseball? But Lance has a vision of baseball that's unlike most people, and you have a perspective being in the broadcast booth that's also unique. So we hope that you are the second best Cubs podcast moving forward. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're lottery picks together. We're top 3. We're bonus babies. Yes. I think that Cubs now is we want to give you access because, as you said, we have 2 different vantage points. I mean, Lance is so analytical, data-based, and he talks with pitching coaches and scouts. And I can't add or subtract. I just talk. I go in there. I go into locker rooms. I've been on bus rides, plane rides, hotels. You kind of get the intangible factors. So I think it's exploring both of those. I think if you've listened to Lance and you've listened to me, you understand that we view baseball in 2 completely different lenses. And I think just being able to take his lens, take my lens, make the Venn diagram, and try to find that middle ground is going to be really entertaining. We also want it to be interactive. We want fans to stop by. We want to get a piece of their mind. What I say is I am a baseball fan first. I am one of you first that just so happens to have a little bit more public speaking experience and a little bit more access. That's it. We want to be the type of people that you could sit at a bar with and have a conversation about baseball for 4 hours with a couple too many cocktails, and then go on and talk about it on air the next day when we sobered up a little bit. So I think that just being real, being accessible, and being relatable with an access point. Oh, I smell a crossover is what I smell. and I think it should happen at one of those establishments you talked about.
Oh, I see.
Huh? A crossover podcast from an establishment. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'll tell you.
If those above hear me, fine.
That's
but
right.
from your mouth to God's ears, I'm fine with it. So,
Well, I tell you, the chemistry is obvious, and the broadcast that you guys did over the weekend was absolutely fantastic.
Thank
So
you. I appreciate
obviously,
that.
congratulates on that. And if you don't mind, I like to ask this question. I've asked Wayne Randazzo this question. I've asked a bunch of broadcast questions, guys, over the years. So you can, I know what the one answer might be, but I'm very curious. Do you have a favorite inning to call? Now, sometimes that first inning is fresh, right? Like the pitcher's on the mound, the lineup is rolling out. Everyone gets a good first look at it. Is it maybe the 6th or 7th inning? Because, man, the bullpen's open. Now we got to make decisions. It's the chess now. It's no longer checkers. Or is it obviously 9th inning the most important? What is it for you?
It's the 8th.
Oh,
It's the 8th
inning.
I love that.
And you have strategy. You have the game hanging in the balance. Like, there's nothing better to me than like a 2-2 game in the 8th inning with runners at first and third and less than 2 outs. Because you tighten up. Like, you can literally feel the tension in the ballpark if it's going against your team or with your team. Like, the hair on your arm kind of sticks up. Because any take and pitch, any swing can change the entire compass of the game. Because if you score a run, then you're bringing in your closer. If not, then there's just so many nuances that go into it. The 9th inning, you kind of know what you're going to get. Like, you know that you're going to get the best reliever. You know if it's a 3-2 game or a 4-2 game. If it's 2-3-4 up, then the other team is going to play some matchups, lefty-righty matchups. There's more guaranteed in the 9th inning than there is in the 8th inning. Like, as I said, I love chaos. So the 8th inning is the best inning to bring chaos.
I love that.
So I teased this as we were going to one of the breaks. How do you get ready for a season? Obviously, part of it was at spring training. You're calling games, so you're seeing the team that way. But between now and we got 9 days until the season starts, what do you do at the first part of the offseason, and what do you do now in the final home stretch to get yourself ready for what will be a long season?
Yeah, I mean, sure. During the offseason, I definitely go back and listen to my own tape and make sure that I'm doing things correctly and trending in the right direction, and I don't have any glaring mistakes. And I ask people who I trust. I'll send my tape to 10 people, and I'll take 10% from what each and every person has to say. 90% it's stuff that I've heard before, something that maybe I don't agree with. But if I could take 10% of this is a hypothetical, of what Boo Chambi has to say, and then what Pat Hughes has to say, and then what Wayne Randazzo has to say, I take 10% of each. I'm a 30% better broadcaster. So that's what I do. And then, leading up to the games that I'm doing, I'm just like you. I listen. I try to shut up, sit back, and listen. And the fact that I get to listen to Pat Hughes, a Hall of Famer, call a baseball game when I'm not broadcasting a game, and get to listen to Boog Chambi and Jim DeShays call a baseball game when Boog's calling the World Series and JD's one of the best color guys in baseball, if not the best color guy in baseball, the best way to get better is to learn and listen. The fact that the Cubs have 2 of the best play-by-play broadcasters in all of baseball makes it really easy to do that.
All right, you ready for my 0.5% advantage for you? Here it is. Bregman hits a homer. There's a Brexit. Brexit baseball.
We're shopping. This is workshopping.
Just throwing it out there. I have a few. Last year there was a lot of I came here for the mashed taters. That's Tater Workman. But Brexit is what I would go with.
Marquee Sports Network, we have an auction that benefits charities and good things that give people like you an opportunity for play-by-play for a happen. And I think that you should keep it for that. So
yeah, keep it for the idiots like myself. I understand what you're saying, Alex. All right, here's a question we're trying to do. We're building out a bracket for the Cubs, like 16 players. We're doing things around baseball, all that stuff. If you had to pick the Cubs' number 1 seeds, players, you got to pick the number 1 seeds. Who should we be putting for the 2026
our 4 regions
Chicago Cubs in our 4 regions? Who should be our number 1 seeds going into this season?
I love it. And I'm going to go with strictly position players because they play every day and starting pitchers don't. Yeah. I'm going to go with Pete Crow-Armstrong. I'm going to go with Nico Horner. I'm going to go with Alex Bregman, and I'm going to go with Michael Busch.
Michael Busch, that's the one, yeah.
Those are my 4.
I think that's right.
With Dansby Swanson right on the line, right on the 4-5 line for you.
I got a lot of stock in Michael Busch this year, Alex. every year he incrementally gets better. He gets smarter as a hitter. He knows how to attack in the zone. Clearly the power showed up. He had a great September, but man, we're getting excited, right? Because Bregman's in the fold. Oh, right. PCA, huge personality. Everyone loves Nico Horner. Michael Busch just keeps going about his business, right? And might just lead the team in home runs again.
Flying under the radar with 30-plus home runs when really only hitting against right-handed pitching. And there will be some struggles against lefties. We know this. But if he can battle through those, you're looking at a 40 home run hitter, something that the Cubs – they haven't had since the ability of Chris Bryant and then Sammy Sosa. So – yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, with D-Lee too. Yeah. D-Lee or Ramos Ramirez can get into that upper 30 threshold, but he can legitimately hit 40.
Oh man, we started getting a heated conversation. D-Lee was brought into it last week as we started going 2008 Cubs players at their position versus 2026 Cubs players. Third base got a little heated.
Yeah, I bet people were really knocking fists on that one. So
yeah, well, the exercise was that 2008 team was built to maybe break the curse, Alex. And it didn't happen. A great regular season team, really disappointing October. So we were trying to stack because there's a lot of optimism around here about this 2026 team. We think it's going to be a really fun summer, and I think this team is built for the regular season to hopefully have games at Wrigley Field. So if it's the Dodgers in a series, we want to see them games 1-2 at Wrigley, right? So we were kind of doing the position by position. And the 2026 Cubs stacked up pretty well, but man, that 2008 team had some dudes on it.
They were really good. I think of what separates a 2026 team. I think the 2026 team has better starting pitching, or a deeper starting pitching. We'll go with that. And I think if you take like the most dynamic player of those two rosters, it's Crow-Armstrong. So the fact that you have the most dynamic player who can change the game with one swing or one defensive play, and you have better starting pitching as a whole, I think you got to take that team.
Man, that's amazing that you're talking about some really good players on that 2008 team. And PCA, if he is the most dynamic player, so
you're talking about a player at his ceiling, at his absolute best, it's Pete. He can take over. He can take over games at 5 different. He has all 5 tools. If he goes on a heater and he gets on base, he is the best defensive player in baseball. Not in the NL Central, not in the National League, not just on the team, in all of baseball. So you combine that with the speed and the power, he can literally take over games.
Do the right thing tonight, DeRosa. Do the right thing tonight. You know what I mean? 4th, 5th inning. I know. Give him a couple turns in the lineup, see what happens. But again, force the issue. Don't let the matchup play you, right? I'm with you. You got to get – PCA has played his way into the lineup of the WBC. And Byron Buxton has not had a bad WBC. It's just when Pete has been so good. So hopefully they go to him earlier than later.
Yeah. I mean, I think that PCA will see the field in some capacity, but he can change the game even if he is a defensive replacement and he comes in and he makes a play that he makes look routine, but that 99% of the guys can't get to because he does that very frequently.
All right, we only have 1 minute left with the great Alex Cohen from Marquee. Quick question. 2 things that have to happen for the Cubs to finally be the division champ.
Got to stay healthy. And then also one of Cade Horton and Edward Cabrera to be the dude, to be an ace, to be a stud. Matthew Boyd's great. Jameson Tyone has been steady. You get Justin Steele back, that's wonderful. If Edward Cabrera or Cade Horton can be a legit one, they're going to win 95 games.
Beautiful. And we will hear some of those games from Alex Cohen calling the games this year. And you're going to be doing a lot more stuff with Marquee. He's got the new podcast. What is it? Cubs Now?
Cubs Now. Yep.
Cubs Now with Lance Prostowski. We look forward to that. What are you most excited about, huh? You ready for a big summer of baseball here?
Aside from seeing you in the Wrigley press box, hopefully, I'm hoping to see Cubs winning games at Wrigley Field because there's no better atmosphere than a Friday, 120, Cubs just dominate X team, and here and go, Cubs go. It's the best thing in sports.
And then super quick, outside of baseball, Hoosier? Indiana Hoosier?
That was at the national championship. So
Hurricane versus Kurt Signetti. Who
45
wins?
seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll take Kurt Signetti against everybody at this point. He's unreal. Yeah, I'm fine with IU basketball not making a tournament again. We'll take our football championships and run with it. So,
all All right, Alex, a full hour. Thanks to Alex Cohen, because we know he's got a lot of prep getting ready for this baseball season. This might be the year they get back to the World Series. Alex will be calling those games. We look forward to it. And don't be a stranger. We're going to listen to your podcast, too. Everybody's going to listen to it. We know it. But a big thanks to Alex Cohen for being our guest today. Alex, have a great season. You stay healthy, too, all right?
I will do my best. I did not come into spring training in the best shape of my life, so I'll have to get into that during the summer. So we'll be good.
All right. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. Have a great day, and don't forget, top of the morning to you.
We all silly like the mayor.